Hi and welcome to my channel for this comprehensive review of the Soundcore Motion Plus, a Bluetooth speaker from Anker. We're first of all going to do the unboxing of this huge box, which shows some of the features of the speaker, which we will of course review during this video. Inside of the box you will find the speaker, of course, but underneath it you will also find the paperwork, including a quick start guide, some safety information, but also this happy, not happy paper from Anker. You will also find a USB to USB-C cable and a 3.5mm to 3.5mm cable, which could be very convenient if you want to use the speaker with a wired connection. Now that we have seen what is included in the box, we can talk a bit more about the speaker and its brand. The brand of the speaker is Anker, which is a Chinese brand, and they are famous for producing external power banks, which are very good and reliable in my very humble opinion. I have two of them, the small one and this big one, that I have since 5 years and it's still working flawlessly, so I trust the Anker quality. Since a few years Anker is producing wireless speakers like this one, but I have been reading on some websites that some people were claiming an amazing sound quality for this particular speaker, so I've decided to test and review it by myself. It is a quite cheap device because it has been launched for $100 in the United States or around €100 in Europe, but it is now available quite often for around $60–70. So it is, in my very humble opinion, like always, a quite cheap price. It is a quite big and heavy speaker. It weighs 1,100 grams or around 2.31 pounds, so it is quite heavy. That been said, it is a honest design, I'd say, because it's not beautiful, but it's not ugly at all. It seems like an old traditional speaker. It is entirely made of plastic, a soft touch plastic, which is smooth to the touch, I like that, but it gets dirty very quickly, and it remains dirty all the time. Even if you clean it carefully, it will always remain dirty, and that's a bit of a problem for me. That being said, the design is quite good. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's quite good. Please note that the speaker is entirely waterproof. It is certified Aptx 7, which means that you can put it under 1 meter of water for 30 minutes. It's a nice addition to this overall design. On the top of the speaker you will find 5 buttons. On the left you will find a microphone for calling a friend or just using your typical voice assistant, Siri on iPhone or the Google Assistant, but you will also find 5 buttons. The bass button, which just sets the equalizer to bass mode, which adds a lot of bass, and then you have the minus button and the plus button just to lower or increase the volume. On the right, we have the Bluetooth button just to initiate the pairing process, for example, and on the center we have the multi-function button, which acts as a play pause button or just skip the track and etc. It acts as multi-function button. The power button is on the right side. When the battery is under 20%, the button flashes in red, which is great to tell you that you have to plug in your speaker. While the speaker is charging, the LED here remains red, and when the battery is fully charged, the LED simply turns off. The speaker takes up to 5 volts 2 amps, and with this type of charger you can have a full battery in around 3 hours and 30 minutes. Under the power button you will find a small cover that is here to protect the speaker against the water, but underneath it you will find the USB-C port, a true universal port unlike the Lightning from Apple, and right next to it you will find the 3.5mm auxiliary port. I am now going to do a quick demo of the sound of this Anker Soundcore Motion Plus because many people are asking me to show you the sound in my reviews, but remember that the sound of this speaker will pass through my microphones, the YouTube compression and your audio equipment, so keep this in mind. The sound of this speaker is stupefying of loudness, really amazingly loud, much more powerful than a Bose SoundLink Mini, for example, which is already very powerful. The bass is very deep and percussive, even at high volume. Speaking of high volumes, there is no distortion, and the sound remains very clear and crisp at max volume. But apart of being loud, the sound is also very detailed. You can clearly distinguish each instrument in an orchestral recording, for example. The voices are well separated, and the stereo reproduction is pretty good for a single speaker. Note that you can pair two of these speakers to have a true stereo sound, which is a nice feature. But what do I have to criticize about the sound? Well, the sound gets really high but not very low. It's still very acceptable, but some speakers, even as powerful as this one, are capable of lowering their volume better than this one. Also, it sounds a bit like a radio. It's not a drawback, I mean that the sound is very clear, but you may prefer a darker sound, like the sound of a Bose SoundLink Mini. It's just a matter of taste. But I have to say that personally, I prefer the sound of a SoundLink Mini, which is more expensive, but also smaller. Actually, there is just one true drawback. There is a noise, like a hissing all the time. The noise is always present, even when you don't play any music, and that's for me a problem, if you put it on your desk, for example. If you don't play any music during some minutes, you will probably be annoyed by this noise. I don't want to scare you, it's not a loud noise, and I think that Anker could fix this issue with a software update. Nevertheless, if your ear is sensitive, you will notice it for sure. But honestly, to summarize, at this price point, the sound is absolutely amazing. Period. An app is available on Android and iOS. The app shows the remaining battery, unfortunately not in percentage, but don't worry. You will be able to see the remaining battery percentage in the Bluetooth settings of your Android device or on the battery widget of your iPhone or iPad. The app has a built-in equalizer, which is very nice. You can also update the speaker and do a bunch of settings like set the auto off feature or activate the stereo mode if you have two Soundcore Motion Plus. You can also turn off the speaker from the app, which is an interesting option. The Motion Plus is compatible with the Aptx Bluetooth codec, which in theory improves the sound quality. But the bitrate is not really higher than the traditional SBC codec. So we cannot say that we have a true high-fidelity codec available, even though this speaker is certified high-res audio. The Aptx codec improves the latency of the Bluetooth, but if you're gaming or doing editing, you will still notice a delay. Wired connections are still better, even though they are less elegant. Unfortunately, this speaker doesn't support two simultaneous Bluetooth connections. It means that you won't be able to connect the speaker at your computer and your phone, for example, at the same time. To wrap up this video, I think that you have understood that this is an amazing speaker. For me, this is a new reference sound for less than €100 or $100. The sound is much better than equivalent speakers like the Bose Micro, the Bose Color, the JBL Flip, etc. Yes, it is a big speaker. Yes, there is a non-so-discreet hissing sound, and yes, there is no dual Bluetooth. But at this price point, I can tell you that you won't find a sound as good and powerful as the one this speaker delivers. That's about it for my review. If you have any question, feel free to post it in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and if you miss my voice, don't worry, I'll be back.